discussion should happen. But Biden is the president. He'll speak with the king. So that is happening now, tonight, apparently, in advance of the release tomorrow of the U.S. intelligence report on the murder of Jamal Khashoggi, the Washington Post journalist. And meanwhile, look at what news the Washington Post itself is now breaking. Look at the headline here. Trump Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin expected to launch investment fund seeking backing of Persian Gulf state funds. Dude has been out of office a month. Mnuchin has been out of office as Trump's Treasury Secretary a month. And he is already turning around and forming a fund in which he will reportedly ask the Persian Gulf states to give him their money. So he spent his time in office shining up the reputation of accused murderer, the Saudi crown prince. Now, 1 month later, he's going into private business seeking investment from sovereign wealth funds in the Persian Gulf. Sovereign wealth funds are state-controlled. In Saudi Arabia, it's the Saudi crown prince who controls his country's sovereign wealth fund. Seems legit, sure, right? As the Post delicately puts it, quote, Mnuchin's planned investment effort, coming so soon after leaving office, raises concerns over whether Trump administration policy was influenced by Mnuchin's future private pursuits. Yeah, you think? You think? Look at this. This is priceless. This is priceless. As the Post notes in this reporting, quote, some of the largest investment funds in the Persian Gulf region are controlled by UAE, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, and Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. 2 paragraphs later, the Post notes that in the very final days of the Trump administration, where did Steven Mnuchin take his last taxpayer-funded overseas junket? He went off to visit, among other countries, what's that list again? The UAE, United Arab Emirates, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait. He just decided that at the very last minute, while the taxpayers were still paying for his travel, he wanted to visit all of the countries with the largest sovereign wealth funds in the Middle East. All of the countries with the largest sovereign wealth funds in the region, with whom he is now planning on going into personal, private business. In fact, when the assault on the U.S. Capitol happened on January 6th, Steven Mnuchin was in the middle of that shopping spree, that trip. Because of the attack on the Capitol, he got all sorts of press for sort of nobly taking action to cut short his trip. And in fact, he didn't end up going to Kuwait after all. He canceled the Kuwait part of that trip. But even after the attack on the Capitol on January 6th, he did keep stretching his Middle East trip out just a little while longer, as long as he conceivably could, specifically so he could squeeze in at least one last trip to Saudi Arabia for what was expected to be one last visit with MBS, with Crown Prince Bonesaw. And now he's opening his private investment fund with what he hopes and expects will be lots and lots of money from the people he has loyally served as U.S. Treasury Secretary in the Persian Gulf states. The people he has loyally served as U.S. Treasury Secretary, by which he does not mean, us. So Joe Biden is president now. He is not sitting in the lap of the Bonesaw guy, nor sending members of his cabinet to do that. President Biden isn't even speaking to the Bonesaw guy. We believe, if this Axios reporting is correct, that President Biden and the Director of National Intelligence he appointed, Avril Haines, will tomorrow publicly release the U.S. intelligence community's evidence related to the murder of this U.S. journalist in which the Crown Prince is reportedly implicated. But, think about the context in which President Biden is making these sorts of changes. He's doing this. He's releasing this report. He is making a big change with the way we deal with Saudi Arabia. He is calling out the Crown Prince of that country. We expect in this report, in terms of his implication in the murder of a U.S. journalist, he's doing all of that as president while this is the background noise. While literally a cabinet secretary from the previous administration is going into personal business with these guys in the Gulf. A month after leaving office, having spent 4 years as Treasury Secretary giving away the store to those countries in terms of U.S. policy, particularly to Saudi Arabia. Incidentally, we spent a good amount of time today talking to people trying to figure out if what Steven Mnuchin is doing here is illegal. Can you sell your actions as Treasury Secretary while you were in office for future personal financial reward? Can you do that? I mean, literally in his last hours in office, the night before the inauguration, former President Trump rescinded the ethics rules that might have banned something this corrupt outright from officials who served in the Trump administration. So I guess that was seen as Mnuchin's free pass to do it. But if Stephen Mnuchin did sell out U.S. policy in a quid pro quo, so the countries he sold out to would then pay him personally as soon as he was out of office, that is something that Trump killing the ethics rules might not save him from. So there's that. Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.